A strange message from the stars, a possible discovery with weak evidence. This is a commentary content with elements of creative writing. In January 1974, a young Scotsman, science writer and part-time astronomer named Duncan A. Lunan, then 27 years old, published an article entitled Space Explorer from Epsilon Bootis. It was about a mystery surrounding long-duration radio echoes, or LEDs, first reported in the 1920s. These were mysterious vibrations, quote-unquote, of the transmitter's voice that were too strong to be mere reflections from Earth. Experts studying around the world found that the outgoing pulses returned to them with a 3-second delay, as if they were amplified and returned by something in the distance of the moon, but certainly not by the moon itself. These delay times began to vary from 3 to more seconds in increasing complex sequences, but with no change in intensity, indicating that a single source was amplifying and returning the pulses. Professor Ron Bracewell of Stanford suggested in 1960 that these echoes, quote-unquote, could be rebroadcast by an unmanned rover from another civilization. Could this be a vessel trying to get our attention? However, it seems that Duncan had made a theoretically incredible discovery as he achieved a translation, quote-unquote, of the patterns of these echoes. The shifts in delay times appeared to be random at first, but Professor Bracewell himself has suggested that if there really was a probe, the first part of the signal it sent might be about its sender, and possibly the signals from a star map. After arranging the delay times in a chronological order, Duncan came up with what really looked like a star map, and then he showed it to astronomers. They recognized that it was a distorted image of Epsilon Bootis in the constellation Bootis. Interestingly, Arcturus, the brightest star in the constellation, seemed to be absent from the map. But under further check, encouraged by various evidence, albeit weakly, Duncan made a leap of thought that he was in another position a little farther away, about the position he occupied 13,000 years ago. He concluded, therefore, that this map had been made could be about 13,000 years old. And that's why Lunan had a theory. That was the moment the detector arrived on Earth, detector quote-unquote. Furthermore, he hypothesized that existence of an intelligent race that sent the probe because their sun has now become a hot ball of fire called an orange giant. He concluded that they had predicted it, so the intelligent race 13,000 years ago were not just looking for contact with other creatures, but was actively searching for a new planetary home in a more favorable environment. Nowadays, there's a claim that this message may have come from the so-called Black Knight satellite. According to neo-mythologists or conspiracy theorists, is said to be around the same age of 12 to 13,000 years old. However, for the sake of political correctness, we should point out that the existence of the Black Knight satellite has never been officially confirmed as real and is therefore considered non-existent. For the same reasons, we should note, as Time reports, that Duncan Lunan's possible discoveries have been met with great skepticism and as highly suspicious, as well as great hostility from the academic community. Scientists approached Lunan's scenario with disbelief. British radio astronomer Sir Martin Ryle said, "Lunan gave no evidence, only beliefs." MIT physicist Philip Morrison, who believes in the possibility of extraterrestrial life, says, "The chances are 9 out of 10 that the whole story is a hoax." Astronomer Bracewell himself doubts that the echoes were intentional and suspects that they were caused by an as yet undiscovered natural phenomenon in the atmosphere. Fanciful or not, Lunan's theory was not distinguished by sound or scientific evidence. This suffocating pressure led Duncan to withdraw the work and research he had done, following his outcry. So it's up to each of us to let our imaginations run wild and ask ourselves in a hypothetical fantasy scenario, What if the young Scotsman really managed to decipher the first message ever from an alien civilization? And if there really was a message that pointed to the constellation of Bootis, did Duncan Lunan translate something else as a follow-up to it, but withdrew or never submitted it and kept it to himself? Then I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.